Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays and welcome back to the channel. We are gonna lose, says the Panther 2. Straight up, we are gonna lose. Yeah, that's because I don't know why. I don't even know why. Why would he say that? Look at their tanks. We're gonna lose. Well, luckily for you, Panther 2. You have Motor Breath on your team, and he is driving the AMX 30 prototype. Now, this video is basically kill 'em all. We're just going to see 2 replays with 14 kills between them, of course. And straight up, as I've said, we have the AMX 31ER. This is a great tier 9 medium tank. It's got a great turret. It's basically, in my opinion, it's basically what the 30B should be. The 30B in tier 10 is a collectible tank. It has a big weak point on top, and it's just fallen behind. It's fallen behind all the other medium tanks in tier 10, and you don't really see it often now. It's not a tank that you play that's played that much and that well. People don't do too well in the 30B. However, this tank right here, people do really well in, and it is a good tank. And when it does come for sale, it is actually quite cheap, and I would recommend, if you've got the money, I would recommend buying this tank. So Motor Breath, so far, I mean, he's only got 1 shot off. He is going to get the SU 101, who decides to turn and go for him instead of the Panther 2, which is probably the right choice, to be fair. The AMX 1ER is the more dangerous target. But at the moment, his team is just falling apart. There's 2 tanks down. The SU 101 is still alive, so he's left him with the Panther. He's managed to still stay alive, and he's still alive even now. So he's going to focus on the Skoda. So he's bringing these tanks down low hit points. There is 3 one-shots, but as soon as they go to a one-shot, the tanks all go out of sight. So he has to actually start shooting at other tanks. So he is going to start going for these one-shots. He's only on 1.8k damage at the moment. There's 3 tanks down on his team, and now he is going to start cleaning up these one-shots. Before that, he is going to go and take a shot on the Emil. And I love the fact that he's just running around the map. He's now going to go for the WZ, who is the 1-shot, and that is his 2nd kill. I think he knows that he actually has a chance, and the SU has only just died. He's only just died. What the hell was his team doing? Now, it is now a 3 versus 3. His Panther is basically a 1-shot. He's lost half of his hit points, so he's not doing that well on hit points. And now he's going to come up against a Carnarvon who has great DPM. So I love the fact that he's just running around. He's not looking at staying in one position. He is just running around like a lunatic, like an absolute lunatic. But there goes his AT-15A. So he is now on his own against 3 tanks, and surely, yeah, that guy, the M103, literally just jumped over the top of him, and yeah, that was good. But he is now a 1-shot, so he's a 2-shot to this Lorraine. So if this Lorraine had his full magazine, his full clip, then he could easily clip him out. Even if he bounces too, he could easily clip him out. But that was a nice shot on the Lorraine. Brings him now down to a 1-shot. So the Lorraine don't want to push. He's waiting for this M103. And at this moment, you're thinking, right, okay, he's in a bit of trouble with the M103 in that position, the Lorraine in that position. But he's going to go for the track shot, and God knows what the Lorraine was doing right there. He had his opportunity to get the kill, but he just didn't take it. And how lucky can you get there? How lucky can you get with that bounce? He bounces from his rear. He even gets stuck on this Lorraine. What a shot. What a life-saving shot there on the tracks. And don't you love it when you do that? You shoot the tracks and then they shoot. Or they shoot, but then because you shot the tracks, it sort of puts them off guard, swings them round a little bit, and then the shot just goes AWOL. But now he's actually got this game down to it's possible. About a minute ago, this game just did not seem possible. But now, this game, I mean, the M103 hasn't done too much wrong, to be honest. I don't know why they're raging. I mean, okay, the M103 is the one raging, but I don't think that M103 has actually done too much wrong. He was trying to block him off. Unfortunately, he got tracked. Unfortunately, he bounced the shot on his rear, of course. But yeah, he's been attacking. It's not like the Lorraine, who had his opportunity, but he didn't take it. And this is where you should be focusing on things like this. You should be focusing when it is, say, a 2 versus 1, you need to know when the tank as is on a reload. And as I said just a minute ago, not only is he getting lucky with the shot on his rear, he gets lucky with the second shot bounced on his rear, and now he brings the M103 down to a 1 shot. So now with 1 minute 20 seconds left on the clock, he is on 6.3k damage, 6 kills. He is patient. He's not looking at just rushing in. He knows there is a minute left on the clock. He's going to reset his camo, and then he's going to try and go for him. And he actually catches the M103 off guard, and he tricks the M103, and he takes him out. What a game that was from our man Motor Breath here. Very, very good game. Of course, he's in Void. You should expect that from good clans and pro players. So that was a really, really good game to watch. I enjoyed watching that. Next up, we have Scaldron, and he is driving the T55A. Now, this tank is okay. Don't really, if you like the T54, then of course you are going to like this. It is a premium tank, so if you like the T54, and again, this tank does come for sale quite cheap, sort of around the 10,000 gold mark. Sorry for my dog in the background. It's not much different to the T54. It's not much different. So it's not like you must have it. If you love the T54, you have to have this tank. Just go play the T54. This is basically almost the same, but it makes some credits. Of course, it only makes some credits if you don't shoot the gold. So we're watching a game now. This is probably one of the best games I've ever seen in the T55A. Now he's pushing towards the Progetto. It is a tier 8 game, so he is top tier. And of course, against those lower tier tanks, you will get some bounces in this thing, just as I've said there. So he's going to go for the Progetto. The Progetto is, in my opinion, one of the best tier 8 tanks when used correctly. And people misunderstand that when I do say, like, that's the best tank in tier 8, or that's the best tank in tier 9. I don't want people to go and get the tank just because I said it's the best tank in that tier. Obviously, there's ways of playing these tanks, and played how they should be played, then yes, they are one of the best tanks in the tier. So he's now got this super version down to a 1 shot. He's not actually bounced that much. He's bounced 240 hit points. Low rolls this super Persian on 12 hit points, and he's still not bouncing any shots. So he has only bounced 240 damage at the moment. He is on 2.4k himself, so he's now only on 500 hit points. So he has to be very careful in what he does and try and play from distance. That was a lovely shot there on the IS-6. Even from this distance, I'm actually surprised these shots are penning that. But he's going to take that. He's now, it pushes him above the 3k. Of course, there is a T95 there. There's a Tortoise there. So there is some well-armoured tanks, but there's also some really, really slow tanks. And before you know it, his team has just literally been torn apart, and it is now a 2 versus 5. A 2 versus 5 when he is just a 2 shot basically. Again, I do apologise for my dog in the background. If it's not Kieran, it's the bloody dog. Like, seriously. So Scaldron is doing really, really well at the moment. He's now up to 3.9k damage himself. He's using this ridgeline now. It has got a bouncy turret, but you can't, with this tank, you can't really rely on the turret. And before you know it, look, a 1 versus 5. Surely with only 500 hit points, he is a 1 shot to the T95. This is just going to be a crazy, crazy game, and this is where he is also going to start bouncing those shots. He's now on 460 block damage. and he's on 4.5k damage. There's a lot of hit points to get through. You can see these hit points. The Tiger has got enough hit points. The Conqueror has got quite a bit of hit points, and of course there is 2 TDs to deal with as well. So he needs to try and avoid those TDs at all cost, and he needs to try and take these heavy tanks out first. So he's going to try and get the shot on. I mean, look at that shot. That is just stupid. Literally stupid. But he does bring the Tiger down to a 1-shot, so that's absolutely vital. He takes him out. Now the Conqueror is coming towards him. There is a tank on the cap, which is not the Tiger and it's not the Conqueror, so we now know that these TDs are on the cap. So that's good for him because he knows where they are, and he's always going for the track shot, and the track shots that he's doing is actually keeping him alive, and that actually changed the outcome of this game. So he's gonna, again, he's not looking at running, he's looking at getting into a position where he can capitalize on his DPM, and he can capitalize on the turret of his, the strong part of his tank. And again, he's always going for that track shot, and he's trying to get under the gun there. He's trying to get it so the Conqueror can't get the bottom plate, or he can't get the bottom plate. He can only get the upper plate or the turret, and he does take him out very, very easily. So he's now on a 1-shot, and again, he's getting under that gun. He's not looking at getting anywhere else except for under that gun, so it's difficult for that Tiger to hit the front plate as well. He can really only hit the upper plate, which is quite strong, and the turret. So this is just an amazing game, and 2 minutes left on the clock, and there is still 2 tanks left, but he is a 1-shot to both of these tanks, so he still needs to be very, very careful. And again, he's going to use these ridges. He's going to use the ridge line to get up and to get his gun over. Again, you have to be very careful of that T95 there, and if I'm honest, he pretty much got away with that. The T95 should have been focusing, and he should have been ready for that shot. So nice shot there on the Tortoise. The Tortoise actually misses his shot, and with 1.5 minutes left on the clock, he's up to 7.1k damage. He brings the Tortoise down to a 1-shot now. Can he clear him? Of course he can. And now it just leaves one of the slowest tanks in the game. If he can get behind him, it is game over. But he's still on a lot of hit points. 1,000 hit points with 1 minute left on the clock is still a big ask. Now he is on 6 kills and 7.3k damage. He is not going to want this to end in a draw. He is going to want the win, and he's going to risk it. He is going to go for it, and luckily for him, the T95 isn't looking. Has he even gone AFK? Surely he hasn't gone AFK. If he's gone AFK, then how lucky can you get? But do you know what? He deserves this win. He played absolutely fantastic, and before you know it, he's not AFK. He comes back alive. So there we go. 1 more shot, 9 HP. He needs to be very careful. He needs to aim his shot, and that's exactly what he does. Well played, Scaldron. One of the best battles I've ever seen in that T55A. He blocks a little bit of damage, and he also ends on 8.4k damage, and he kills a lot of them. 7 kills. He gets all the medals you can think of. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope you guys can have some battles like these guys, because they were truly amazing. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye.